The cameras flashed the moment Ethan Brown stepped out of his black Rolls-Royce Phantom. The billionaire CEO of Brown Global Holdings was used to the attention, boardroom takeovers, magazine covers, billion-dollar deals. But tonight, something was different. At the gates of Titanium Heights, his 80-story glass skyscraper in Northbridge City, a woman dropped to her knees, clutching a baby wrapped in a tattered shawl. Her voice cracked as she screamed his name. "Please, help us." The voice split the noise. Ethan turned, chest tightening. Vanessa grinned. The woman who ruined his childhood. The stepmother who convinced his father to throw him out at 14. Now she was on her knees, begging. His assistant, Lena Scott, moved beside him. "Sir, do you know her?" Ethan stared at Vanessa, saying nothing. She crawled closer, struggling to hold the weak baby steady. "Please, Ethan," she sobbed. "My son, he's dying." His jaw set. "You should have thought about children before you destroyed mine." Vanessa flinched, clutching the baby. Lena touched Ethan's arm. "So maybe we should." "No." Ethan walked past, through the sliding doors. Her cries cut off with the seal of glass, but the voice lodged in his head. That night in his Silvercrest residence's penthouse, Ethan stood before the window, city lights scattered beneath him. His reflection showed a composed 32-year-old in a black suit. Behind the sharp jaw and cold eyes lived the boy who lost everything. Iron gates. A soaked school uniform. "Dad, please. Please let me in." From behind the gate, Henry Brown's voice. "Go with your mother, Ethan. You're not my son anymore." And through the shadows, Vanessa in silk and diamonds, whispering into Henry's ear, smiling as the gates slammed shut. Ethan gripped the counter until his knuckles whitened. Lena's heels clicked softly as she entered. "She's still outside. With the baby." "Then let her wait." "You're not him," she murmured. He closed his eyes, said nothing. Morning. Top floor of Titanium Heights. Lena set a tablet on his desk. She's gone viral. Billionaire CEO snubs woman begging with baby. Reporters are camping outside. She wanted an audience, Ethan said. Now she has one. "Ethan, the baby's sick. We can't ignore this." His phone buzzed. Noah Briggs, his private investigator. "Boss, I've got what you asked for. Orium Lounge. You need to see this." That evening on the rooftop restaurant, Noah slid a file across the table. Her life is in shambles. Eviction notices. Foreclosures. Unpaid medical bills. A photo trail of Dylan Cross, a smooth con who drained her accounts, forged documents, sold her properties, vanished. "She's been sleeping in abandoned shops," Noah said. "The baby's barely surviving." "She deserves worse," Ethan said evenly. "Maybe she does. The baby doesn't." 2 days later at Westbrook Medical Center, Vanessa sat slumped in a plastic chair, the baby limp in her arms. She stood and nearly stumbled when she saw Ethan. "I know I don't deserve it," she whispered. "I lied. I turned your father against you. Karma took everything from me. I'm not asking for me. I'm begging for him." The baby whimpered, breath shallow. Ethan looked once, then turned and walked away. Vanessa collapsed to her knees, sobbing into the tiny chest. That night, Ethan stood on his balcony. His phone lit with a message from Lena. The baby just collapsed. Critical. His grip tightened. "This isn't about her anymore," he breathed. Antiseptics hung in the air as nurses rushed past the ER doors. A faint cry bled into the soft beep of monitors. Ethan arrived in a black coat, strides clipped. Outside there, Vanessa hunched against the wall, face ashen, clothes damp, hands shaking. "They said his heart," her voice broke. She covered her face. A doctor stepped out, mask down. "Who's responsible for the baby?" "I am," Vanessa said, unsteady. "I'm his mother." The doctor glanced at Ethan, then back to her. "He has a severe congenital heart defect. He needs emergency surgery. We don't have the facility here." "Surgery abroad?" Her lips trembled. "Yes. Without it, he won't survive the week." Her knees gave. She sank to the floor, crying. Ethan's hands stayed buried in his pockets to hide the tremor. "Ethan, Lena's voice was low, pleading. He turned and left. In the car, his reflection stared back from the tinted glass. A man at war with himself. He told himself he didn't care. He told himself this was karma. But every time he closed his eyes he saw a tiny chest fighting for breath. No occult. She's been near the old terminal, floor, benches, anywhere. No formula, no clean clothes. Dylan stripped her of everything. Silence. I know what she did to you, Noah added. But this baby... Later, in the penthouse, Lena spoke softly. She hasn't eaten or slept. She just sits with the baby. Ethan's chest rose and fell, steady and strained. She's paying for what she did, Lena said. But the baby is innocent. He walked away before she could see his face. 2 days without sleep. Meetings, calls, signatures he barely read. Vanessa's voice wouldn't leave his head. On the third morning, Lena stormed into his office. The baby won't survive another week. Vanessa has no one. Ethan's eyes stayed on his laptop. She pressed, You always swore you'd never become like Henry. He looked up, eyes dark. Book the jet. What? Book the jet. Find the best pediatric cardiac surgeon in Europe. The baby leaves tonight. Relief flickered over her face. Ethan lifted a hand. She doesn't know it's me. She never will. That evening at Halcyon Jetport, a specialized team loaded a white Gulfstream. Vanessa clutched her child, eyes raw. The baby will get the best care, Lena told her. Everything is arranged. I don't understand. Who's doing this? Lena glanced toward the shadows where Ethan spoke quietly with the lead surgeon, then back to Vanessa. Someone who cares. Vanessa whispered a thank you and boarded, hugging her son. Engines roared. Ethan watched without expression, something shifting inside he wouldn't name. This doesn't change anything, he said as the jet vanished. She still took everything. Lena nodded. Some wounds were older than words. Back at Silvercrest, Ethan sat in darkness. He saw a boy outside a locked gate. He heard a woman's soft laugh behind it. And now he saw a fragile life refusing to release his mind. Before dawn, the Gulfstream touched down at a secluded European facility. The surgical team rushed the baby to specialists. Vanessa followed, hands trembling, prayers tangled with breath. No one told her who paid. She knew. In Northbridge, Ethan stared at untouched whiskey sweating on the table. Silence pressed on the room. Lena watched from the doorway. She'll find out, she said gently. And when she does, she'll come back. Not for help. She can come back, he said, eyes on the skyline. It won't change anything. It's changing you, Lena said. This isn't about her anymore. It's about you. He didn't answer. 3 sleepless days. He sealed deals, approved mergers, signed what others placed before him. Close his eyes, tiny fists, a fragile chest rising and falling. Day 4. A secure call. Mr. Brown, the doctor said, calm but urgent. The surgery was successful. He's still critical. The next 72 hours will decide everything. Ethan's knuckles went pale around the phone. Do whatever it takes. He exhaled for the first time in days. Lena set a coffee down. How's the baby? Alive. That's good. It's temporary. Until it isn't. And Vanessa? She gets nothing from me. Not my sympathy. Not my forgiveness. Not my time. Even as he said it, his chest tightened. That night he replayed what he'd buried. Cold nights at Willow Creek home, begging strangers for school fees, watching Vanessa glide past him in silk while he stood outside her house in rags. Henry Brown's fury, Vanessa's quiet laugh. The pain had aged, not faded. But there was the image of a child breathing through tubes. A life wedged between revenge and mercy. The walls he built were high, cold, and effective, and somehow this small life had cracked them. 3 more days. Mid-presentation, Lena burst in, breathless. The hospital. Take this call. Mr. Brown, the doctor said, steadier now. The baby is stable. Responding well. We expect a full recovery. Ethan's throat closed. That's good, he managed. Lena studied him. You care. I care about justice. For once, you care about something more than revenge. That night on the balcony, clouds thinned over Northbridge. He thought about all Vanessa took, all he became because of it. Then he thought about the baby. For the first time in 20 years, he didn't know what to do. 3 weeks later, the jet's engines softened as it landed back in Northbridge. Vanessa clutched her son, warm now, color returned, kissing his forehead. She didn't know who saved him. In her heart, she did. Reporters crowded the terminal doors. Who paid for the surgery? Was it Ethan Brown? She pushed past, silent. At Westbrook, Dr. Samuel Hayes smiled. He's recovering beautifully. Without that surgery, he wouldn't be here. I think I know who to thank, she whispered. That evening she stood across from Titanium Heights, watching sunset glass. She remembered striding into this building once with pearls and certainty. Now she sat on a curb in thrifted clothes, holding a child she could barely feed. Black SUVs arrived. Security stepped out. Ethan emerged, taller, broader, power in the room without speaking. He glanced across the street, only a glance, then walked inside. The ache in Vanessa's chest deepened. Silence can wound more than words. Inside, Lena looked up from a tablet. She's been across the street for hours. Let her, Ethan said, loosening his tie. She knows it was you. She doesn't need confirmation. She needs to stay out of my way. Lena studied him. You tell yourself you're doing this for the baby, but you're doing it for the boy who stood outside your father's gate. This isn't about her anymore. He said nothing. 3 days later, Ethan drove out of the city, Maybach gliding toward Willow Creek home. The rusted gates creaked open, memory hit with the smell of old wood and damp earth. Mrs. Evelyn Hart met him with open arms. You came back. I want to rebuild this place, he said, handing her a signed document. Dorms. Facilities. Scholarships. Her hands trembled. Ethan, this is 500 million naira. Call it overdue. Behind them, Lena stepped away, whispering into her phone, yes. Run the DNA test. I need confirmation. As Ethan walked to his car that evening, he saw Vanessa beyond the gate, holding her baby. Their eyes met. She lowered her head. Thank you for saving him, she said, voice steady despite the tremble. He kept walking. In the car, Lena asked, she'll try to get close. She can try, he said. I'm not 14 anymore. And the baby? The baby's future isn't hers to decide. 4 years he controlled every outcome. This was different. A fragile life had dragged old wounds into daylight. He knew this story wasn't over. The envelope sat on Lena's lap like it carried a heartbeat. She'd asked for the test quietly. The seal was unbroken. She could still spare Ethan one more ache. He ended a meeting in 12 minutes and closed the blinds. Lena held the envelope out. This came an hour ago. He broke the seal. Read once. Finn. Stopped at the last box. Henry's blood, he said. A verdict. He's your father's son, Lena replied. Ethan stared at the ceiling, then at her. Call my lawyer. Options, no headlines. He pocketed the report. I have to see Mrs. Hart. At Willow Creek, children's laughter cut the late afternoon. Mrs. Hart hugged him like the boy who arrived with a backpack and swallowed pride. You look heavier, she said. Truth has weight. Sometimes it's the only thing that lets you breathe. He told her the facts. She listened, hands folded. Do you know what you're going to do? No. Then start with what you won't do. I won't let him grow up wondering why he wasn't enough. Good, she said. Build a life around that sentence. On the way back, he told Lena to have Noah find Vanessa discreetly. Not at the tower. Not where cameras eat people. They chose Orium Lounge and cleared the balcony. Vanessa arrived in a plain dress and worn sneakers, baby asleep, fist resting on his cheek. She stopped 3 paces away. You look healthy, she said. You look like you've been paying for a long time, he answered, neither cruel nor kind. I don't have words to repay what you did. You can't repay it. Then why help us? He watched the child's calm breathing. Because a boy once stood at a gate and asked to be loved, and a man told him no. I'm retiring that word. I know sorry is small, she said. I took your father from you. I told myself stories where you were the villain so my choices made sense. If there's a weight I can carry so you don't have to, give it to me. You can carry this, he said quietly. The child is Henry's. Vanessa went still. What? DNA doesn't argue. He slid the report across. She pressed it to her chest. He told me he wanted to be better with this one, she whispered. Make it right. I am not my father, Ethan said. I'm not you either. Whatever we build now won't use the materials you used to build my childhood. What do you want? She asked. Stability, privacy, medical follow-ups, education paid for, a home not held together by fear. I'm drafting a trust in his name. You can't access the principal. Monthly stipend with conditions. No interviews, no selling stories, no games. Break them, you lose the stipend. The trust remains for him. You'll also sign guardianship contingencies. If anything happens to you, he lands where he's expected. Where? With the woman who taught me to keep my promises. Mrs. Hart. Vanessa gave a small, tired laugh. Of course. They watched evening settle. The baby yawned, drifting deeper into clean sleep. What will you tell him? She asked. The truth, edited for kindness until he can carry heavier versions. Will you be in his life? I don't know, he said honestly, but I'll be in his corner. 2 days later, in a quiet legal office, they signed. Trustee. Notary. No cameras. The event was the size a child's future deserved. Large in impact, private in ceremony. On the steps, Vanessa said, I used your father's love like a weapon because I was afraid. I made you a villain to excuse myself. I cannot undo it. I can only treat the truth like a wall I won't climb over again. That's the life I owe you. Keep your promise, he said. I will. Weeks softened into routine. At Willow Creek, foundations were poured, beds delivered, tiles laid, a small library breathed paper and hope. Mrs. Hart's laughter sounded younger. Ethan visited without press or speeches, measuring the distance between who he'd been and who he allowed himself to be. On the back steps, Lena asked, What are you thinking? I rehearsed punishments, he said. It made me efficient. It didn't make me free. And now, I'm building what outlasts me. Revenge doesn't have that kind of patience. She bumped his shoulder. I liked you terrifying. I love you human. At Westbrook, a gust tugged the baby's blanket. He startled and cried, thin, startled sound. Instinctively, Ethan reached out. Vanessa handed him over without fear. The small body settled against his chest, heartbeat tapping against armor. The cry became a hiccup, then a sigh. Tiny fingers opened and closed on the wool of his suit. Hey, Ethan whispered. You're all right. Maybe to both of them. What's his name? He asked. I haven't decided, she admitted. He deserves to hear himself called. She swallowed. Caleb, she said. Caleb grinned. Ethan's mouth curved, something steadier than a smile. Hello, Caleb. News didn't leak. The city fed on other stories. The essential work continued in quiet rooms, in careful hands. Months later, Willow Creek's new wing opened. No journalists, only donors who didn't need bricks with names, staff who built 1,000 small miracles, children unimpressed by architecture. Mrs. Hart cut the ribbon with orange-handled scissors that had opened cereal boxes and letter packs for 20 years. Ethan spoke one sentence instead of a speech. No child at this gate will ever hear no and think it means they are not enough. Afterward, Vanessa stood with Caleb on her hip. They met in the middle of the courtyard without choreography. He's sleeping better, she said. I can see it. You look like you've met sleep again. It's a luxury. Luxury is a bed where fear can't find you, he said, glancing at the new windows. Do you forgive me? She asked. Forgiveness isn't a door I open to let you in, he said. It's a door I open to let myself out. I'm outside now. Tears finally fell. She nodded. Caleb stirred, searching. Ethan held out his hands. She placed the boy in his arms. The child settled, face turning toward a heartbeat he didn't know he knew. Something unarmored moved across Ethan's features, recognition not of blood alone, but belonging. Sometimes the sweetest revenge, he said, is refusing to keep the pain alive. Mrs. Hart called everyone for a photograph. Children lined up in happy disorder. Staff gathered. Lena yanked Ethan to the middle with mock severity. A little girl tugged Vanessa into frame. Caleb slept through history. After Ethan walked to the dorm that used to be his. New sheets. The same stubborn window. He lifted it, letting in ordinary celebration. Lena found him at the sill. You're thinking again. I'm trying a new habit. What's that? Being here. Not past. Not future. Here. Here suits you. He glanced at the courtyard, Vanessa laughing with Mrs. Hart, Caleb napping on a blanket, a boy apologizing to a plant he'd kicked. He handed Lena a copy of the trust summary. Archive it. We won't wave it at anyone. We'll live it. On the way back to the city, Lena watched him in the rearview. There's a line online people think came from you. They keep getting it wrong. What are they mangling now? They say, sometimes the sweetest revenge is not paying back. Close, he said, Northbridge gathering its lights like sequins. But not quite. What is it then? He let the hum of the road answer first. Then, the sweetest revenge is building a life where the wound has nowhere left to live. He didn't post it. He lived it. In the quiet places where stories finish becoming, a boy named Caleb grew. A woman named Vanessa kept her promise. An old home filled with new laughter. And a man who once sat on a throne of distance chose a different kind of power, the kind that keeps gates open. The city slept well that night. So did he.